especially if all of those people you mentioned just now, those are the leaders in our societies. If they were to understand that education is indispensable, we know our people have always valued education. But then again, government spending on education, it's a cost right in there, and oftentimes we fall down on that regard. You've just spoken, in passing about education. As we speak, there still are, youths, because we're talking about youths, there still are children in this country in certain aspects. So sometimes it's incongruous. At the same time, we have Nigerians, we have in the best institutions in the world, be it Oxford, Cambridge, Harvard, MIT, and all of those. And then we have youths who, it's not an exaggeration to say, who are having to attend classes under trees, without even desks, sitting down. And so there've always been complaints. In fact, as soon as we open the phones and, some of our viewers begin to call in, a number of them are quite education inclined. They are like education rights activists, advocates. There's always been this complaint that we are not doing enough, even though I fully appreciate the fact that, well, resources are scarce, but we have the level where there are still areas where students have to attend classes, if you want to call it that, under trees in far-flung remote areas. So that there is one heck of a big headache for all of those people that you mentioned, from the president right on down to the local government, local council chairman. And I don't know the seriousness with which we're addressing it, and as long as those who are in charge, well, they're good. Even if it is tertiary, they'll be able to have something for food. But the tomorrow, the youths of tomorrow, the difference between being, an armed robber, a criminal, and being a creator, being an innovator, being an entrepreneur, it looks like it's all in the orientation that these youths have.
You see, we must start creating an enabling environment for the average Nigerian to succeed. You see, God has blessed us as a nation, as individuals, as a race. I'm telling you, God has really blessed us. As bad as it may be for us, in Nigeria, even the educational sector, we still try when we go abroad. The average Nigerian, I can tell you this, our professors in schools, as they hear you are in Nigeria, they don't play with us. We can be discriminated on the street because maybe you're black, other things can happen. But as soon as it comes to education, the average Nigeria excel, they succeed. For example, I left Federal Polytechnic. I studied electrical and electronics engineering with my ND. I left with a pass. I got to America. I left school with a 4-point GPA. I graduated with distinction. I was an honor student. And I said to myself, they saved me, but the environment was more conducive. I got, my school fees was paid. I had time to study. I got financial aid. Student loans were there, just like the president has proposed. All of these things, they make us do extremely well when we leave the shores of Nigeria. So we are blessed as a nation. I think we need to start cultivating. We need to start creating a well-enabling environment for the average Nigerian youth to succeed. The human resource is a great blessing. It's not a curse. Becomes a curse if we cannot harness it, if we cannot take advantage of it. And that's why I'm glad the leg the president is taking, getting investors on board, getting things that will keep the average man working. For us as a Nigerian youth, and even the women, I think this is the first time we have gotten it right. I don't believe we can complain that youth have not been brought on board. And that's why we admonish every young man, every young woman out there who have had the opportunity to be given an appointment to win an election as youth. We have been shouting, clamoring for youth. Now we have it. We must do something with it. We cannot go and sit down. The president has given us we cannot complain. We've had more than enough like we have never seen before. We must now take advantage of it, get the youth to start working. Like you said, the difference between a youth becoming an armed robber is when they have nothing to do. The other day, I was in a hotel in Benin City, and the young man who was cleaning the room, I noticed the way he was talking. Usually, sometimes I will engage them, especially if they're young. What do you do? Did you go to school? I noticed he studied biochemical chemistry, and now he's a cleaner in a hotel. I was so moved. I'm glad he got something doing. But imagine going to school, graduating, and yet nothing to do. You have to settle for less. So we must create an enabling environment. Entrepreneurship is the way to go. The average youth out there, get a business, register, do the right thing, and get going.
All right.